With the dawn of a new millennium approaching, we thought we'd jump on the reminiscing and nauseatingly nostalgic bandwagon too. So here's part one of New Zealand music shows of the last 2,000 years. Fortunately for us, television only arrived in New Zealand in 1960. Music television began with a show called In the Groove. It was filled with local groups performing the latest hits from overseas. 1964 saw the beginning of Let's Go, hosted by Pete Sinclair. This was a show that featured local artists, but again, not many original songs. 1966 saw the introduction of Come On, which became one of the most popular shows on the telly. Hosted by Pete Sinclair, it had the Go-Go Dancers, a resident band, and slick special effects. While the music was still mainly from overseas, it did create stars of Mr. Lee Grant, The Chicks, and Mr. Ray Wolf. The swinging 60s came to an end and a whole new generation of shows began. And in colour too. The Grunt Machine was first hosted by Andy Anderson and David Jones with groovy 70s lingo.
Mostly it's been local talent on the Grunt Machine because that's what the program's all about. Thank you for turning us on. And I hope you dug it in what we've laid on you. And if you've dug it, you'll be back with us in 1976.
And Paul Holmes even hosted the show.
Top 20's been around for a few years now, the concept of it. Do you think it's got a future?
I don't think it has a future because I don't think it was going anywhere anyway.
And then RTR began in the late 70s.
Where do you think you're going, boy?
Sorry, sir. Can't stop now. Ready to roll.
There weren't many videos around initially, so Kiwi artists did covers of overseas hits. But Sharon O'Neill and others did perform original material and keep the lip gloss industry going. Slowly, as more videos arrived and there was no need for live performances or presenters, curse the thought, RTR turned into a top 20 chart show.
Good evening, citizens.
But the pinnacle of the 70s for local music shows was the beginning of radio with pictures. Hey, more about that next week. The year is 1977 and a new music show hits our screens, hosted by DJ Barry Jenkins, aka Dr. Rock.
Good evening, citizens. The major feature of Radio with Pictures tonight is some Class A rock and roll film clip of this band.
Well, the amount of
then the First Lady of New Zealand music shows, Karen Hay.
Program in itself, so that's just what we've done. On January the 14th, watch out for the NZ Rock special on 2.
I mean, she was renowned for being someone who was unashamedly in possession of a Kiwi accent, and she had made her mark. And I think also behind Karen was a very good producer called Brent Hansen, who was a pretty sharp guy who now basically runs MTV Europe.
Richard Driver had been a minor rock star with the hip singles before he was asked to replace Karen Hay. No surprise with these smart moves.
I had a job driving a cab. I went into a burger bar late one night and there was a clipping in the newspaper saying Karen Hay had resigned, and then a couple of days later Brent Hansen phoned me and said, yeah, matey, what are you doing? You must be at a loose end, you know, do you want to have a go at this presenting thing? So, so I kind of entered the thing knowing it was a hard act to follow, but also I was totally relaxed about it because I wasn't seeking a career in television. Like when Brent offered me the job, it was like it was the most money I'd ever been offered in my life. So I thought, that's me. I'll take the job. Anyone who was a serious music buff, they had this 1 hour on Sunday nights, and anything went, you know.
What was the most significant thing it did for New Zealand music?
It was a totally public service channel in those days, TVNZ. We were not driven by ratings. We didn't care about ratings. We just wanted to get as many types of genre of artists on the show, really. It did nurture a lot of artists. It gave people a voice who otherwise would just be sitting in their garage somewhere. It supported a very healthy live music scene. There was stuff that we played on Radio with Pictures that we thought was pretty out there, you know. We thought we were pretty sort of like, yeah, this was going to shock you. But which now is totally mainstream.
While Radio with Pictures held its Sunday night slot, in the afternoon the kids had Shazam, hosted by Philip Schofield.
It's still a great song, isn't it? That's the Beatles from their first album, The Beatles in Concert.
And then Philippa Dan. Then a disaster for New Zealand music fans.
In 1986, the Recording Industry Association said to TVNZ, look, we want you to pay a huge amount of money for the right to play video clips. TVNZ said, no way, we're already paying you a bit of money, and there was a standoff. The recording industry withdrew the right for TVNZ to play music clips, so we were sitting there in our production office thinking we've got to do something. We put Radio with Pictures off to one side, shelved it, and created a show called True Colours, and got bands into the studio and had them playing live, and basically it was a stopgap measure to keep some kind of platform, some kind of outlet for New Zealand music on television. So it was me and Philippa Dan. Philippa Dan, for some obscure reason, put this black wig on. I mean, perfectly beautiful, leggy, blonde woman. She puts a black wig on like she's, because she had a show called Shazam. So Shazam and Radio Pictures came together, beautiful moment. Me and Philippa Dan sort of doing this kind of, get on your Kiwi, it's kind of weird.
But lovely suits.
Well, you've probably got a tape. I can't remember, and it's all a bit fuzzy to me now, but thank you for reminding me about True Colours.
The end of the 80s saw the beginning of CV, a show with 3 presenters, including Robert Rakiti.
Hi, welcome to CV.
Hey, Robbie, did you enjoy doing CV?
CV.
Well, you've probably got a tape. I can't remember, and it's all a bit fuzzy to me now, but thank you for reminding me about True Colours.
The end of the 80s saw the beginning of CV, a show with 3 presenters, including Robert Rakiti.
Hi, welcome to CV.
Hey, Robbie, did you enjoy doing CV?
CV?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Well, no, it was an experience, but it was my first year in TV, so it was really hard. I don't know why we needed even to have 3 of us, to be honest with you, but I think I was supposed to be the main links person, and then there was Lani, who was the co-host person, and then there was Mark.
Good evening.
And here we stand with the new music show for the 90s.
Yeah, great hair in those days.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Now, we know what's happened to Mark, thanks to the Pop Stars program, but what happened to Lani? Do you keep in touch with Lani?
I don't know. I'd like to know myself, actually.
Yeah?
What happened to Lani? It's been a while.
Where are you, Lani?
Where are you, Lan?
What are you doing?
What you up to?
Yeah.
How's the kids?
Were you involved with any other music shows?
After CV, yeah, I did. Actually, I count down Sounds and Top 40. So I was kind of doing all the music shows. After CV, the unit got closed down, and Mark and Lani and everyone else went their separate ways, and I was retained, which I kind of thought was, because I'd quit. I decided to leave TV because I thought the whole experience sucked. I don't like walking down the street and people abusing me for no reason at all, other than the fact that I don't play enough Metallica, Tupac, whatever the situation, whatever music they were into. You get abused because you didn't play enough of it, and I always thought it was quite weird, considering it was just music to me,
Richard Driver and Karen Hay returned to music, this time behind the camera with Music Nation, hosted by someone who was set to be a music star in her own right.
Album, absolutely. That's the Headless Chickens cover.
We did Music Nation, which kind of like a forerunner of what Squeeze is in it, I can just say that. One of my ideas, but so yeah, Karen and I do keep in touch. She's kind of a mother of two children now. She's living back in London on her houseboat.
So what do you think when it comes to music TV shows? What do you think the kids want to see out there?
Oh, I'm not even going to try and answer that.
Sex, love, a good beat, something that's dangerous, something their parents don't like, someone who's attractive, all of those things that kind of make interesting music, I guess. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. There's the prepubescent pop packaging that my daughters are into now. I mean, they love Spice Girls. They're even interested and know about True Bliss, and I figure it's like at the moment they're interested in ponies. Pretty soon they'll get interested in boyfriends, and their music taste will probably get a bit more of a hard edge on them as well. So I guess it's kind of an age thing, you know what I mean? It's like there's puppy love, and then there's the lust edge thing, and then maybe you mellow out like I do, and you get like a little bit more middle of the road. So
speeding down the middle of that road.
Do you want to come home and look at my CD collection?
I know, I tell you what, I've been in a few executive producers' offices, but no one's ever said that to me. I think I'm going to go now. But thanks for talking to us.